hills and build them high. Makes a long time climbing before I die. I want the chance to spit in his eye. Well, they gave me bars, but I can see between to a dusty yard and a long gone green. They call that freedom, if you know what I mean. And I drown my sorrows, but the whiskey's gone. I'm sober as a judge.
Hello everybody, welcome to Shortbangers. This is episode 52. I'm Matty, I've got John and Colin with me. We'll go straight into the questions because this is the third episode of the week. First question then comes from Councillor Tom McEwen, who said, what caused the earth to move under Tiny? So there was an earthquake in Edinburgh this week apparently. What caused it? It was at Tynecastle, that kind of area of the town as well.
Maybe Christian Nadé was making a reappearance.
That was the first, my first go-to was Nadé, and then there was other, what was the big useless boy that just got bought for £1 million off of somebody?
Middlesbrough, Uche.
Aye, what was his surname? Ikpeazu.
Is he actually moved for $1 million?
I think he did.
Over $1 million, aye.
Is that the most
Mental,
mental deal you can think of, apart from maybe $5 million that Celtic paid for that Barkas, which seems like the biggest waste of £5 million.
40 grand a week for Shane Duffy.
Aye, 40 grand a week for Shane Duffy is pretty horrendous as well. Do you think they were better or worse value than the track and chase billions that was spent in England? For that, I'll be going with that. I was just saying, Nadie came back for a wee session. He was built like a tank, by the way, as well. Came for all we took the piss at him, and you see him with his top off. It was fucking massive. I wouldn't have told him.
Aye, but so's what was the boy? Akin Fenwa.
Aye.
Oh, aye.
Just, I don't know, it's a bit gimmicky, isn't it? Like, check me, I can lift weights. Listen to the boy that goes and sees PT every Friday.
There's the boy at Wolves as well. Is Traore, is that his name? Traore, the winger. And he looks like
at least he's athletic.
He looks like he should be playing rugby union or something like that. I didn't think he was Spanish. See, when we were watching the Euros and he came on. I was like,
I know.
Fucking hell. At the camera I thought he was wrong, but I didn't think he was. I didn't expect him to be in that Spain team. But there you go. Good player. Right, Kaiser Souza said, are seagulls protected? If so, how do you shut them the fuck up? Seagulls are protected, aren't they? Are seagulls protected? And if they are, how do you shut them up?
I read something recently, it was in the Daily Mail, and it was about someone doing on a beach in England who battered a seagull to death with a child's toy spade.
Imagine seeing that happen. Again, if you're just driving past, you go, oh, what's this boy up to? Oh, that's quite extreme.
Pat in the sandcastle.
Aye. And you go, we see who's going to get fucking off me, get off me like that. Boy's trying to get his chips back.
I'm due up at Easter Road in a couple of weeks.
That's it, I've got a ticket. Bastard.
When you see Hibs Arsenal, fucking leave me alone.
Speed's just thumping him. No, you're no.
Hibs are shite. It's a fucking farmers league.
Are seagulls the most annoying birds?
Geordie birds could be quite annoying.
Swimming. Chat says, how many hard drives have been seized in the East End, Govan, Gorky areas during lockdown? A, thousands, or B, not nearly enough? Probably B, yeah. Liam, which SPFL manager and players are most likely to sit in the toilet to fart?
I could see Gerrard doing that for a privacy point of view, because he'll have somebody following him about everywhere.
Aye.
So I think he'll not just let one go in the, like Dick Campbell or somebody. He'll be lifting the leg up and doing motorbike and everything.
Tommy Wright. He'd be my candidate for it.
To go into the toilet to fart? I think he'll just go wherever he wants, Tommy Wright.
Tommy Wright strikes me as a farter. Jack Ross strikes me as does it in the motor or away from the squad. Aye, it'll be discreet about it.
Yeah, so Jack Ross, Gerrard, that kind of the new modern man.
Where would you place Big Ange, Celtic manager? I think he's a farter. I think he's a discreet guy.
He definitely is. He's probably a pull my finger. Oi Lee, come here. Pull my finger. That's actually Irish. They came
is he Irish? Is he?
Now, the danger, as I found out the other day, gone to the toilet to sit down for a fart, right? It's came your pre-shite fart, right? Which is, I think we've established on this podcast before, is the loudest and most unique fart that you do. So I've got a wee toilet as you come out my house on the right-hand side, right? Wee downstairs toilet, and then it's the living room right after it. And I was like, all right, need to go to the toilet. So I went and sat down, and the pre-shite fart, which again you have no control over because you have to do it. It's like there's no option if you're going to do the shite, you have to do the pre-shite fart. This time it was the loudest fart I think I've ever heard, and it lasted a good 5 seconds. Like it wasn't just like a kind of quick burp. I was annoyed when I came out of the toilet that I didn't get a round of applause, or not even an acknowledgement. There wasn't even a like, "You all right?" Because it sounded like it might have taken a wee bit out, but kind of might come out sweating a bit or a bit exhausted after it, kind of, or a bit lighter even. You know, like if you lost weight, that's how much gas came out. So, but not a peep for anybody. I think I felt to let me down.
What have you got today? Has it got to go to 10 seconds now? No,
Well, that's it. It's good to have to raise the bar with it. Right, 150k on Hanlon Hill. Do hen harrier birds of prey take off and land vertically? I can't what a hen harrier bird of prey is. I assume I can guess what it is, but
is that what the harrier jump jet is named after? That bird, because you know how that can take off and land vertically.
Aye, let's go with that. Yeah, harrier jump jets are cool for that.
Aye. So I'm going to say yes, they've got wee afterburners under their wings.
Aye, they came what they're doing. Fattest Pickers, should baked corn snacks be allowed to call themselves crisps, or should the word crisp be held solely for potato-based snacks?
Aye.
Well, actually, and then crispy could be called a crisp. No, well, I suppose.
Aye, well, that's a good point you make there.
Why does it need to be a potato thing that's called crisps?
Aye. Well, because it relates to the texture and the sound, doesn't it?
But I think traditionally, the crisp in this country was just the potato-based snack. I think it would have been a long time before your corn-based ones made it over the pond.
But it would get confusing, I think, if you're, and who's going to say I'm away for a corn-based snack when you want a packet of What's-Its?
I think the difficulty that we have as well is that we didn't have the option of calling, if we were to change the name of crisps so you could differentiate between your corn-based snacks and your potato-based snacks, you can't call them chips because we've already got chips. So what else do you call them?
See the folk that make kettle chips. What if they want a cup of tea?
Made them in a kettle.
Aye. What if they want a cup of tea? Right, Jay Caldwell said his coughing replaced the "I'm too tired, I've got a sore head" man-wife conversation. So is coughing the new get out clause? Nobody's going near you if you're coughing these days, are they?
But you're in the same house anyway, so it doesn't matter. Still be the same read, don't you?
Somebody put it on Twitter the other day that they think we should change the phrase "avoid it like the plague," given that we literally have a plague and folk can't bother their arse about it anymore. So do we need an update to avoid it like the plague? And if so, what would replace the plague?
Avoid it like the anti-vaxxer or the flat earther.
Aye. Right, we'll come back to that. Right, text us in what you would avoid it as, the 80295.
Well, we're not avoiding it, are we? That's what we're saying. Nobody's avoiding anything.
Aye, but so you would. Aye. But what would you if you did replace the plague? You have to say, I want to avoid that like
the flu.
Like the flu.
I want to avoid it like Matty's thoughts on quantitative easing.
Like Jambos. Fattest Pickers, it's felt like we could have done with a bit of rain for a while. Did we need this rain? Yes.
Absolutely.
Close it up a bit, didn't it?
Yeah. Need more.
Give us the rain. We've been dead lucky. Sunday night it was meant to be thunder. Sunday was lovely, right? Never had any rain at all. Monday was meant to be rain and thunder, and the Apple Weather app had 90% chance at times. In fact, there was 1 hour where it said it was 100% chance of rain. It definitely going to happen. Not a drop all day. It was lovely on Monday.
Easiest job in the world, weatherman.
Aye.
Imagine being wrong that often in your job. You wouldn't have a job very long.
Unless you're Boris Johnson.
They're wrong. Aye. They're wrong more than 50% of the time, though. They wouldn't even pass the exam.
Mentally. And they get to just do this. This is like how they present. Just like that. Fucking rain in here. And in here. There you go. Right, David Hardy said, do you think these Olympic swimmers coming in first, second and third would record faster times if they didn't have to trail those banners proclaiming their position behind them for the last 25 years? Undoubtedly.
Never catch up. Aye. Is that David Hardy for Evening News fame?
Aye.
Is it?
Yep.
Is that what? There's a journalist tweeting in questions.
Retired. Aye. A Hibs journalist.
Papers
covered Hibs for
Let's get him on.
years.
Let's get him on.
Did you know your work experience with him?
I did it in the Evening News though, but it wasn't with David Hardy. Although I did once lend him a dictaphone when I was covering Hibs under 19 games. We were at where was it? Maybe Murray Park or maybe at Fir Park when we won the league, and he'd forgotten his, so I said he could borrow mine, and I just got it back off him another time. So I had it up here.
Hello, David.
Aye, hello, David. Matt says, did you know? Probably not. Ewan says, following up for Alex's question, this is like on Viz on the letters page, when on the same episode is like a reply to that. Ewan says, follow up to that, if it wasn't very much rain, could we do with a bit more?
We answered that already, I think.
I think probably did. William says, favourite Hibs night out controversy, Deke banned from everywhere or Tam McManus at the lap dancers?
Is it a choice between those two, or is it?
Or if you've got another one, there was what's his face, Victor Paulson, Pistons somewhere, isn't he?
Victor Paulson
at the Dome, was it?
Well, I thought it was why not, but
why not? They're pretty much the same place, aren't they?
Was there not a Sunday Mail thing as well? Where was it Bredner and McManus and that pissing in a shop doorway?
I think that might have been the same night as the strippers.
Was that the same night? Oh, it could be actually. Aye.
Darren McCormack, leathering Callum Elliott.
Aye, that's the winner. Aye. Yep, go with that. Hibs said, not the club, just Hibs Twitter account. Which past or present Hibs player would you swap for any past or present WWE wrestler? I didn't ken any wrestlers, so.
Well, I tell you, I can think it immediately as Big Daddy, who's no WWE.
Aye.
But
The Rock.
Conrad Logan.
The Rock, does he still do the wrestling? Is he just in films now?
Hulk Hogan, he was one.
I think
he's big racist now, so you wouldn't take him.
No.
Who watches wrestling though?
John, you can your wrestlers, John?
I'm still stuck in WWE Raw days, so like Stone Cold, Mankind, Undertaker, although he's only just retired. So I'll take Mankind. Put him at left back.
Right, we've got last couple of questions, and then John, we'd had a question in asking what three things Hearts like more than statements. So loads of folk have replied to that one. So we'll get through the last two questions and we'll go through some of the answers to that. Paul Mackay says, what sport would you put in the Olympics that you played as a kid? For me, it would be Kirby.
Kirby would be brilliant as an Olympic sport. I would watch that.
Would it get...
Especially because I want the rule when you go into the middle, if the other person catches the ball and they hit you with it, that's you, they gain all your points, because the amount of injuries that would result in that would be worth the...
Olympic level would be dull, John, because they would be so good at it. They would just be basically...
You think so?
Aye. The only thing you could do is... Did you ever
Can we get Council Olympics then?
Aye, Council Olympics. Did you ever chuck it over a car? Didn't you, like, try and time it so that the car was, like, going through?
Aye.
And, like, so you're blind. So they always say, nah, never do that.
No, that's a good, you know.
No.
Hunt the
That's extra points.
That's a game I would put in there. Like, imagine that Olympic level.
I can't remember the rules of that, but I just remember the name of it.
It was like, I think it was effectively like hide and seek, right? But there would be one person hiding, everybody else had to get them. Kind of like, it's like the opposite, where there's one person trying to catch everybody that's hidden. But the best thing about that, can you imagine the commentary? And it's like, here's Billy Smith from Paul Beff. He's This is his third year as the cunt. So he's had his first Olympic experience as being a cunt 2 months ago, where he was hunted for 3 hours by the cunt catchers.
How did you win? How did you win that game? Just by
basically
not getting caught.
If you didn't get found before everybody gets bored. And Jonathan, you're itching to make a Portugal-based joke here, aren't you? Right, but
yes.
I
was honestly thinking, I wonder if that's what she was playing.
Right. Right.
What about British Bulldogs?
Aye, British Bulldogs. It's always an injury in that, eh? Always an injury.
30 man aside football.
Aye, that's a good thing as well.
Every cunt piles on.
But they're picking with the feet. Crab football, we did that at Scouts and stuff. That's a crap game.
Aye, but there's loads of crappy events in the Olympics. Like if we're talking Council Olympics, get crab football in there.
Right, crab football. I'll take that, John. Fair enough. Right, Mel Clements said, "What's the premium carb Scottish delicacy? Chips on a pizza or pie on a roll?"
You just saying that. I've just remembered I took my niece on holiday a few years ago to Butlins, and you go. It's like just pick. It's like a big buffet thing for breakfast and dinner. One night she went in and she got for her tea baked tatty and chips. That's so fucking tatties.
Well, like,
some crisps or all.
Chips as a filling. A wee croquette on the side.
Wee bit mash.
I tell her uncle, who probably listens sometimes. She's like, well, she's got to be Irish, isn't it?
I think it's hard to beat a pie on a roll. A pie on a roll is one of the best things going.
I tried it, yeah. Did I try that?
See, compared to a pizza and chips, a pie on a roll seems like a snack. It seems like the starter for the main event.
Aye, I'm not. I'd like chips on a pizza. If I wanted chips, I'd have chips. I didn't want chips and a pizza. I'd have.
You ever have kebab meat on a pizza?
Aye,
that's pretty good. I've had a pizza once. One of my mates turned up at a house party with a pizza that had chips, kebab meat, and I want to say curry sauce on it. It was unbelievable.
I could beat
maybe
some.
at the time, obviously.
Kebab meat with chippy sauce.
Were you saying that the other week?
We talked about this before. Aye.
Sorry.
Aye. Right. I think the last two questions. 150k in Hamlin Hill. Al McGregor picks up a vegan Magnum instead of a mint one due to the confusing nature of the wrappers. Does he return to the Tesco Express dressed as Spider-Man to kick fuck out the staff? Yes. So. Did you see that clip going viral with Spider-Man?
Oh shit! Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't very good. It's not. I think why he needed to do it. He's got quite a good rep, Spider-Man, and then he's just ruined it. It's like kind of Paul Gascoigne. Obviously, Cal was the last question. Obviously, that Andorra and Bell End was the worst, but what's the second worst number 2 you've ever seen?
Oh, remember the boy? You go, John.
I was going to say, if you go to Marks and Spencer, say, and you get the chocolate eclair, so you've got the shoe bun and you've got the bit of ganache on top. I swear I had a jobby like that once, and it was so big that it left me lying on the couch for a good hour and a half afterwards, wondering what had just happened to me.
I think
that was the perfect time to get some fruit up. Yeah, vegetables.
I think I've
question one.
The time I met Tony, when we met Tony Colin, he did a shite so big that it took days to flush away, and it was so big we called it Wallace after Wallace Mercer. You have to go somewhere to get a shite so big you name it.
That'd be one that you would go and get the maid to show her. Look
at this. Come and see. Right. Where was that question?
I was going to say Barassa. I couldn't mind his name. Mind the fucking Bricky that played for the Hearts.
Oh shit! Aye.
He was. That's probably the best answer out of all of them, to be fair. Right. So, list 3 things the Jambos love more than a statement. So you can have a think about this, and I'll rattle off some of the answers that have come in. So Ricky said relegation, poppy tints, and cash cows. Fattest Bricky said moaning like hell, moaning like fucking moaning like a motherfucker. Ewan said entitlement. Blaming St Mirren and I but 5-1. Ian Morrison says general visceral anger. Andrew McBee says unfinished stands, submarines, and Russian fur hats. Those were the days, I mean, when Hearts were like proper comedy. I mean, they do still do quite a lot of comedy, but back in the day when it was proper comedy, like kicking Russian hats about the street and fighting each other, fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
Fattest Pick is claiming they're a massive club, wearing cardigans and counting all the way up to 6 on their one hand. Andrew McBee's missionary position on their birthdays. Tom English had a poor IT firewall that would have allowed Dundee's original vote to be received at the SPFL. The first one of those used to work beside a guy, right, who was an Aberdeen fan, and he went out with a lassie in the office who was a Jambo, and literally, without a word of a lie, she would let him do it on his birthday like that. And that was it. That was his sex life. And he told us that when he was drunk one night and he was kind of having a good moan about how crap things were. And this was what he told us his life was like. Pretty much on my birthday, missionary. She lets me. And I thought, how depressing is that? Like, it's not even like I want to date as well. It's fucking if I have to, but only on your birthday. Like this?
How many times do you think on his birthday missionary position did it stop becoming something to look forward to? Something that he started to dread.
Probably after the first time, you'd be going, fuck, what's life become? But then you'd probably date it out of spite. That's probably the stage you get to. You're like, well, fucking going to date it. Do you know? A grim existence. Right, Mark says pink paint, stairways to nowhere, and castle views. Kev R. Poppies, the First World War, which they won, and Craig Levine. William Lee Griffiths, the Gorgie Fry and Strongbow. Dean, Graham Ricks, Craig Thompson, and the Lego Team Bus. Mind the wee Lego Team Bus that they brought? It was like £80 and it was...
An off-centre sticker.
Guys, this was appealing shagging huns and commemorative wreaths. Alistair Taylor, relegation, and pendant relegation. Lucy Van Pelt, New World Order. Barry Shan, great Twitter name by the way as well, Barry Shan. Pretending they're big time, pretending Tynecastle was the best stadium in the world, and pretending 3 trophies in 50 years is success. Jay Caldwell, moustaches, cardigans obviously, and pink bus shelters. Ian McPhail, cues, cardigans, and Vauxhall Omega and champagne grey with faux leather seating. Kevin Lord, cardigan and polo shirt combo, a wet look gel down fringe, and owning WW2. Oscar Ramage, their 5-1 comfort blanket, poppy tins, and Lithuanian criminals. And Colin said, not you, Colin, other Colin, sex offenders, charities, and ordering seats. Paddy Toon, grey sweatpants, their sisters, and stains. Niall Kenny, stairs that lead to nowhere. Ross, Hibs, their 5-1 comfort blanket, and thinking they're a big team. Belden Lascar, a bake sale, charity parachute jump, and kicking hats behind the parachute jump call. Was that Kahunas? Did you know the story, John?
Oh, aye. That's a brilliant story. I can't remember it all, but...
it was... Fuck, this is going back a long time, Colin. Probably, about 10 years minimum.
Name. Oh, aye.
So it was Kahunas. Was it Kahunas that they were doing it for?
Aye.
Boy went on Kickback and he made this story up about, so I think it was the same account, wasn't it? So I think he'd maybe been posting it as one poster and then he came on as another poster saying, by the way, that poster was my uncle. He's dead. Right? He's died.
This made the papers and everything. This was the Daily Record now.
So it started all this backstory and what he'd been like a boxer and maybe fucking married someone in Bollywood or something. It was like some fucking mad backstory the boy made up. And this lie just snowballed to the point that folk were doing like whip rounds and everything. And somebody did a charity parachute jump to raise money for the
Hibs fan.
Aye, it was a Hibs fan, didn't it? Jumped out the parachute jump for charity for the boy. And it turned out, and I remember vividly because we used to go and fucking troll Kickback all the time. Back in the day, we didn't do that these days because I can tell you last time I looked on Kickback. But it broke. Remember, somebody says it's the same person. So it's like there was a reveal, and then there was this like fucking scandal. Everybody was furious, and they were all. It was like
they were going. Well, I met him once. They were all arguing about like they'd met him at some function or whatever.
It was like the end of The Usual Suspects.
But
the detective turns round and he sees the wall with all the stuff that the boys just tell him about it, and he drops the cup. That's what it was like this night on fucking Kickback when everybody found out, and then so. It turned out it was all bullshit. So I think the moral is I didn't trust Jambos. That's the moral of the
Or
story.
the internet.
Or the internet, aye. Right, Steve G. Beige cardigans, Rover 416s and throwing ridiculous amounts of money at old crocked players. Monty 1875. Relegation, committee meetings at the golf club and knocking one out to old wifeys in a tartan jacket. Oh, that was the last one. I forgot how much folk enjoy Ripping Hearts. That's what
I just realised that a lot of that's similar.
Aye.
And the fact, I think we should forget about the comfort blanket stuff. We need to stop talking about that as well, because it makes us, we're only talking about it because it does bother us, and we try to pretend it doesn't. So
my three would be letting folk pay for their poppy tin debt, right? Fucking time up.
That's right. Funny, because it was one of mine. I was going to say Sir Tom Farmer.
Sir Tom Farmer,
because he paid the debt.
Right, number two. I would take the cash cow because that was fucking good. Actually, number three, pay and own a club that you never ever going to own. Just like endlessly just handing over money and never ever getting anything.
I was just saying fundraising in general, because that's what they're doing there. Fuck knows what they're raising it for, but they're raising money.
Did anyone say bake sales before?
I think somebody did. I'm sure they did. One of the early ones. My last one's talking up their players like they're world beaters. Like Andy Driver got to go for £10 million.
Harry Cochrane,
Harry Anderson to print it.
That's a great show as well.
There's numerous ones. I mean, they've done it. They got some money for the laddie last year, the fullback. Hickey, but they've done it over the years. Like look at it back. And the other ones, obviously, that they'll go and buy. We're going to buy Gary O'Connor or Scott Brown, or we're going to bring Mowbray in as manager. Or they've done all the ones as well. Just trying to lord it over you. We've got a £10 million player, and we're going to bring Tony Mowbray in as manager because you all liked him. That kind of shit. That's what they're big fans of doing all that.
John, your three?
I had, while you were reading them out, I had wreaths, and then I heard you say that someone had put that in. I also put legal action and job sharing.
Job sharing. Well, it's funny because obviously we said we would keep all these anonymous. So I know you've got a confession from our DMs that you wanted to share with us, John, but one night that came in sort of late last night, and again, keep it anonymous. This person says, I was in charge of hiring the person to run one of the most significant teams in my work. I hired somebody who had no experience and knew that they would fail. I kept slipping them notes with stuff that would make their job worse. Eventually that person got sacked, and then I convinced my boss to not only keep my job, but let me take their job as well. So I spent a year and a bit running the team that the last person had managed before I fucked it up royally as well. And even then, I managed to convince my boss to let me hire the new person and show them around my work. So that's some going, but we'll keep it quiet. We'll not say who that was. They said they weren't bothered if we told them it was from a Craig L from somewhere. But anyway, John, what was the one you had?
Okay, so to explain, I've only recently got my driver's license. One day I was reversing my car and scraped the car next to me. I say scraped in quotations because the scratches that were there were barely visible, and I'm pretty sure they didn't even penetrate the paint layer. Besides from those, there was no other damage to the car. There was no damage to my car. But in a panic, I drove away. I haven't told anyone this, and I haven't been able to sleep well. I'm so extremely sorry and wish I could rewind time to undo what I did.
You ever bumped somebody's car? And I bumped somebody's car. So what? Sky bumped. I can say thing, just not as for parking. There was nothing happened to it, but I went and tried to find the person, told security and everything. I was like, "This is the registration plate," and obviously must have been out and went fucking name marks there, so never heard anything about it. But there's that temptation just to go and everybody's around, but I couldn't do that. I was like, I need to tell somebody.
Nah, I've not done it.
My missus bumped your car years ago now. Can't remember the exact story, but it was down at the infirmary, I think. And the car got bumped. She came home and she was like, somebody bumped the car when it was parked and they've not left their thing. And I'm going, that's not fucking right. Well, I kept asking loads of questions and that about it. And the whole fucking CCTV and that. I'm going to phone.
Fucking Colombo.
Get the CCTV and that. She had to just tell me it was her that done it. So he just kept going on and on about that. Just didn't know the way I do.
Right, that's all we've got for this week. Colin, John, thanks very much for your time tonight. Thanks for coming on. Thanks everybody for sending in your questions and for slagging off the Hearts. It's something we've done enough of over the last wee while, but now they're back in the Premier League. I'm sure we'll have plenty more opportunities to rip the piss out of them, so keep that coming as well. We'll be back on Monday with Longbangers, hopefully to talk about a wee win on Sunday against Motherwell. So until then, take care and we'll see you later.
Well, they trailed me down when I broke free. I drank all the whiskey in Tennessee. I don't drink what I know.